Welcome. This is a recording done by Online Hub Technologies. For more information, check in description below. Character and Characterization in the Play of Inheritance by David Mulwa. Pure. One of the reasons as to why Lulu was chosen is because of her purity. I should point out that the word Lulu is Swahili for gold. Therefore, Lulu was as pure as gold. However, her naivete landed her in a hot mess when she learned about the true intention of her being invited in the royal palace. Although she was driven by the desire to find someone who would finance her education, her vulnerability could be hereditary own undoing, demanding. Lulu is tired of pretending and demands action from her mother. She is insensitive to her parents' struggles against the biting poverty and demands that something should be done for her education. Her painful stand makes her appear as a spoiled brat to her mother. Number 2. Lacuna Casu. He is the son of the former king Councillor Romanus XVI. He becomes the first leader of the independent Kutula state. As the head of state, Lacuna Casu uses his powers to intimidate the people and gain personal wealth as he runs the economy of Kutula down. Character traits of Lacuna Casu. Greedy. Lacuna Casu participates in the execution of his father in order to rise to power. While in power, he uses his position and authority to enrich himself. According to Rollerstone, Lacuna has millions of shillings in foreign accounts. Besides, the loans he takes do not go to economic development, as seen in the old machines used by miners in the silver mines. Most of the money is either used for his entertainment or banked for him and his henchmen. Reckless. Lacuna finds pride in associating with internationally financiers, whom he believes have his interests at heart. He believes that since he conspired with former colonial masters to end his father, then they owe him. However, when he fails to pay the loans, he realizes that business does not have a human face. His ignorance makes him believe Malipoa's predictions and prophecies when the only thing needed was to listen to his people. Superstitious. Lacuna believes in the wise counsel of Malipoa, especially on the matters concerning the leadership of Kutula. He has the notion that he is the rightful heir to the throne of Kutula, and that the popular opinion does not count. He pretends to care for the development of his country, yet he misuses the loans and grants given by the foreigners to bring development. Lacuna believes that his father was a failure and that he has done more for his country than his predecessor. He talks about free education and healthcare when all that is needed is economic empowerment so that the people can afford education and healthcare, among other things. He believes that his subjects do not have intellectual know-how to participate in the complex international trade. Dictatorial. Lacuna is described by Bishop Menninger as an ingenious, greedy rascal that's utterly devoid of human feeling. Nero and Caligula all rolled into one ambitious mold, as seen in page 15. In his desire to ascend to power, he assassinated his own father. While in power, he uses fear and intimidation to rule and control his subjects. He rewards loyalists like Malipoa and Chipande and tortured dissidents like Judah and his brother Bengo. Judah had been asked to get rid of his activist brother, but he politely refused. This decision turned around Judah's life from a successful civil servant to a poor man who would die struggling to make ends meet. Activists like Bengo are jailbirds, while loyalists continue to loot the country's coffers with the help of Lacuna himself. Dependent. Menninger knew Lacuna so well. He is the one who prepared him for the role he would play later in life, that of ending the life of his wife. The foreigners first used him to eliminate the humanitarian leader, and then continually used him to loot both the natural and agricultural resources through loans whose interests were very high. Since Lacuna was not a visionary leader, he easily fell for easy cash that lands Kutula into inflation. Dependence on foreign aid becomes Lacuna's major undoing since the people rebel against him. Number 3. Robert Rollerstone. He is a young, energetic foreign investor in Kutula. He plays the role of the bad cop, a business face that has no time for petty conversations like his counterpart Daniel Goldstein. Introduction. Characters are the voice of the author in any works of art. In plays, they come alive and may take different forms, depending on the director of the play. In the play Inheritance, David Mulwa creates vivid characters, some of whom we may have encountered in real life. Character traits of Robert Rollerstone. Straightforward. He does not babysit Lacuna Casu as Daniel does. He is gruff and bold as he reads out the terms of the loans extended to Kutula and the results for the loans. His official manner makes Lacuna despise him. He readily threatens to take all the money Lacuna and his henchmen have stashed in foreign accounts. Ambitious. Robert is young and ambitious. His youth drives him into taking bigger risks to expand company operations in Kutula despite the marauding corruption. However, this time round he does want to finance the agricultural projects with company oversight and leave Lacuna's government out of it. Good listener. When Robert meets the young Lulu, they instantly hit it off and becomes friends. His keen sense of listening makes him gain insights into operations in Kutula, and that is why he does not want to pamper Lacuna any further. Quick-tempered. Robert knew very well the operations in Kutula and how the leadership misappropriated state resources. For this reason, he hated them and did not want to play any games with them. He also shows concern for the local people, and that's why he wants to invest in them. However, he does not ask the people what they should want, since he believes that his company has all the answers for the ignorant folk. Number 4. Romanus Bengo. Romanus Bengo is the brother to Lulu Zenmilo and uncle to Lulu and her 2 brothers. He is the leading civil rights activist in Kutula, having escaped death when his brother Judah refused to finish him, as had been ordered by Lacuna Casu. Character traits of Romanus Bengo. Calm. He displays a calm demeanor even in times when he is incarcerated. He shows patience because he knows fully well that he is dealing with people confronted by teachings of submission and respect for those in authority and the poor. He does not give up in his fight, even when imprisoned. Courageous. Judah made sure that Bengo obtained the best education in Kutula. It is this education that exposed Bengo to the suffering of his people and made him decide to fight for the rights of the people. Despite the prosecution of rights activists, Bengo displayed courage, knowing fully well the risks to which he exposed himself. Hopeful. Bengo is hopeful that he will overcome Lacuna's reign of tyranny. He makes sure that he is reliable and using his wit and charm attracts a huge following. Understanding. Bengo accommodates everyone and does not take it to heart when his brother curses him. He also understands why Tamina hates and despises him. Number 5. Tamina Zenmilo. Tamina is the wife of Judah Zenmilo. She has 3 children with him, among them Lulu. Currently, Tamina lives in poverty. She is pained by the fact that she has been compelled to live a miserable life because of her stubborn brother-in-law. In plays, characters play different roles so as to bring out the playwright's message. In the play Inheritance, David Mulwa creates colonial and post-colonial characters who shape the direction of the play, and the ripples of their decisions are felt in the present-day Kutula. Number 6. Daniel Goldstein. Daniel Goldstein is a company man. Together with Robert Rollerstone, they represent neo-colonial interests in Kutula. Goldstein is a wide old man who knows how to manipulate Lacuna Casu. He is the man looks towards as a friend and a confidant. Character traits of Daniel Goldstein. Firm. He speaks calmly and wins Lacuna's confidence. Thereafter, he walks Lacuna through the financial debt the leadership owes him until he reduces Lacuna into a helpless beggar. When they started speaking, Lacuna had the authority, but towards the end of the conversation, we realize that Lacuna is just a puppet, but power belongs to Daniel Goldstein. He knows exactly how to put Lacuna in his place, despite Lacuna's arrogance. Cunning. Goldstein averted Lacuna's desire for power to greed for money. In this way, he knew Lacuna being lazy and stupid. He won't look for opportunities to create wealth, but take the easy way out, borrow loans. At the beginning, he made sure that the loans appeared to have been a mutual consent between two parties. However, he knew pretty well that the loans would be a noose around the people of Kutula, especially given the fact that the leadership was clueless. To have bagged Kutula's resources, he takes a liberal stand and throws in Robert Rollerstone, a fierce financier who makes Lacuna regret his decisions. On the other hand, Daniel plays as helpless as Lacuna, heartless. Daniel knew very well the insatiable greed Lacuna and his cabinet had, however, he continued to finance Lacuna's government. The huge debt coupled with inflation lands a majority of the people of Kutula into abject poverty. However, Daniel's company still has the audacity to proclaim further investment that would evacuate the people from their homes in Buculenge Valley. Number 7. Councillor Chipande. Chipande is Lacuna's trusted hand in running Kutula. He is a people pleaser and astute follower of Lacuna. Together with Malipoa, they form a ring of trusted allies of Lacuna. Using their positions and power, they enrich themselves by grabbing up lands and embezzling government resources. Chipande is Lacuna Casu's strongest ally. He is there to advise Lacuna Casu to tread lightly in front of the two white people. As can be seen, he employs a modest and humble tone with the Westerners, but is bossy around his countrymen. He believes in the colonial mindset of being ruthless to keep the natives in tow. As a landowner, Chipande pays his employees peanuts so as to keep them coming. He does not extend credit facilities, and that is why Tamina has no savings or nowhere to turn when Lulu asks for school fees money. Number 8. Counsellor Malipoa. Together with Chipande, they are the closest and most trusted leaders who surround Lacuna Casu. Malipoa plays as the traditional and religious advisor to Lacuna Casu, just like Menninger was the advisor to the colonial governor Thorne Mackay. As a religious advisor, Malipoa ensures that he continues to inculcate religious rituals that raise Lacuna to divine status. In this regard, people of Kutula believe that the Lacuna was chosen by God, and no one can supplant him from the office. It is Malipoa traditional rituals that keep Lacuna in office for long. Malipoa also demands certain privileges to be extended to the leader. An example is that the people should offer a pure girl teenager to Lacuna as a piece of sacrifice to appease the ancestors and bless Kutula. It is for this reason that Lulu had been chosen to entertain Lacuna Casu. Character and characterization. Number 9. Princess Sangoi. She is Lacuna Casu's half-sister. She has been adopted by the late King Kutula XV because of her intelligence and wit. Although she had come from poor background, the little girl was infatuated by the white man's religion and education. King Kutula, seeing this, he requested that Bishop Menninger should ensure that the girl obtained the best of the white man's education. However, Menninger had other plans for the girl. He wanted to make her a good-for-nothing religious and philosophical fanatic who would have nothing to do with the suffering of her people, but fervently in search of the white man's philosophies buried in books. This made her at loggerheads with her half-brother Lacuna Casu. Casu tries to buy her by appointing her into office as counselor and representative of the people, but she refuses to silence the voice of the people. Instead, she leads the opposition against Lacuna Casu and his foreign saboteurs. Number 10. Lulu Zenmilo. Judah is the father to 3 children, Lulu and her 2 brothers. He is the husband to Tamina. He is also the brother to Romanus Bengo. Judah is an obedient follower to Lacuna Casu. He rises above the ranks and becomes one of the most powerful people in Kutula. However, Judah's brother Romanus Bengo refuses to toe the line. He becomes a leading activist in Kutula. When Lacuna Casu asks Judah to deal with his brother Bengo, Judah declines because he cannot shed the blood of his own brother. Thereafter, Judah is attacked by a mysterious gang that leaves him for dead. When he recovers, thanks to Reverend Sango's husband, he finds out that he has lost favor with Lacuna Casu. For the rest of his life, he would work hard to please Lacuna to no avail until when he is killed at the mines. Number 11. King Councillor XV. King Councillor XV was the last post-colonial leader in Kutula. He was the father to Lacuna Casu, who succeeded him, and Reverend Sangoi, an adopted child. King Kutula appears in the prologue. He is one of the driving force behind the activism manifested in Romanus and Sangoi. Kutula's wisdom and defiance drives the colonial authorities to devise a means of eliminating him. Kutula favors complete emancipation as opposed to political freedom when the economy of his people is still in the tentacles of the superpowers. His sentiments are shared by Sangoi, who, when she released the two foreign friends, declared that Kutula was ready to do business with them at her own discretion. Number 1. Lulu Zenmilo. She is the daughter of Tamina and Judah Zenmilo. Romanus Bengo, the activist, is her uncle. Lulu has two brothers, both of whom are mentioned, but do not play an active role in the play. However, they are pivotal in bringing down Lacuna Casu's leadership. Number 12. Governor Thorne Mackay. He is the last colonial governor of Kutula. He hopes to continue the exploitation of Kutula by foreign force. However, he meets a defiant King Kutula. According to conversation between Kutula and Mackay, the governor turns out to be illiterate to Kutula customs and manner of speaking. He is also oblivious to the suffering of the people as he leads a lavish lifestyle while the majority are languishing in abject poverty. His inhumanity blinds him to the fact that the colonial authority is in fact milking the people dry instead of creating an environment of development and prosperity. He is more interested in Kutula's mineral and natural resources as opposed to humanitarian interests. Number 13. Bishop Menninger. He is a representative of colonialist religion. As it were, this religion was tailored to raise submissive initiates who have little opposition to their own humiliation. Seeing that King Kutula would jeopardize his plans, he hatches a plan to eliminate the king. He also plans to induct Sangoi into the field of academia such that she has no mind of her own or plans to liberate her people from implanted ignorance. His plans for King Kutula succeeds in driving the king to death and raising Lacuna into power. However, instead of Sangoi being brainwashed, she comes out well-educated in matter political freedom and economic emancipation, which she plans to use to bring an about turn in Kutula's deplorable poverty. The end. Thanks for listening. You can visit our website, www.onlinehub.co.ke, for more information. Character traits of Lulu Zenmilo. Intelligent. Lulu is top of her class and an active participant in many of her school's activities. She nurtures a dream of becoming a doctor. This drives her to join the radicalized in her society. In her struggle, she displays a not-giving-up attitude despite the financial constraints in the family and the fluctuating Kutula economy. Rebellious. Lulu is rebels against religious and moral standards of her society. It is not really being rebellious, but she speaks defiantly against her mother's religious and moral beliefs, which she alludes to their current state. Her scathing remarks against Bishop Menninger's religion makes her earn stern discipline from her mother. However, this does not stop her from speaking, but marks a journey towards activism, which ends up with her interacting with Robert Rollerstone. Social. She is a free-spirited character that earns her a leading role in the commemoration ceremony. Her vibrant soul makes her meet and spend the night with Robert Rollerstone. Although she was supposed to entertain Lacuna Casu, she more than engaged with a like-minded individual and young investor Robert Rollerstone.